to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulation.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com. Mike and Jay. Shalom, Big E. Hello, Jay. How are you?
Very well. You?
I'm doing good. Yes.
Good Christmas?
Merry Christmas, yes, to all. I had a good Christmas. Assuming you guys did as well.
Did you have to head out in the death storm of Christmas Eve?
I did. I was out. Dude, that was nasty.
It was nasty.
It wasn't much better Christmas Day.
It was way better Christmas Day. Are you kidding me?
Dude, I went to my parents.
Jesus, were you out on both?
I was out on both, and I will say one thing I did was I actually shoveled the driveway.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Friday night
Me
or Christmas Eve night, and then me and my brother did it Christmas Day.
Oh, a little bonding, bros in town. Let's shovel for Mom and Dad. It was his idea, wasn't it?
No.
It was his idea.
Not the first night, not Christmas Eve night. That was my idea. But I will tell you, it was not.
No.
I don't know if I buy that.
It was not to be helpful. This is why you should believe it. It was not really necessarily to be helpful.
I can't get my car in a driveway.
No, it was more just like when sometimes people will talk about someone taking the bus, but taking it out of more like, oh, I'm taking the bus. Like they're not really to try to get the poor experience, but they're doing it for the novelty of it. It was Christmas Eve. It looked really nice out, and I just thought it'd be fun to shovel.
You wanted the novelty of shoveling snow?
Yes. So I shoveled it, but I still did it. We have a decent driveway. It took me about 40 minutes or so. I don't know, hour.
That's fucking weirdy.
Yeah, that is weird.
You know what? I don't know. I like snow. I really enjoyed Christmas this year. I loved that it freaking snowed like it did Christmas and Christmas Eve.
I was blaming the sweet pie. She wanted a white Christmas, and
yeah, it's her
God,
fault.
Damn it, man! Driving in that shit.
You got to give her a white Christmas, man.
Yeah.
You know what? I did look out the window at one point. I was like, you know what? If I'm not being an asshole,
it's magical.
It is kind of tits to look out the window and see
it was
like
perfect.
the whole street lined with snow and the icicles. It was kind of cool. I'll admit. I did a little shoveling too. I shoveled Beth's driveway. Does that count? That counts, right?
Yeah, depends
Did
on
you
what
run over
part
the
you
spike
did.
strips?
Well,
No, I didn't run. No, there were no spike strips.
What part of it did you do? Did you do the whole thing, or just the
I did
straightaway?
Well, here's the thing. I went to my parents for Christmas Day because Beth had to work, and so she wasn't going to get off work till 7:30. I was at my parents for a while, and getting back home was a nightmare because it was snowing out in Brighton, and the roads still sucked from Christmas Eve. That's why I was saying, dude, it wasn't much better on Christmas Day. And so I finally got my way back home, had to gather everything, and I didn't want her to have to come home, and I knew she would
look
be.
at that. That's nice.
I knew she would be worried about it, and like, oh God, I got to shovel the snow before I can do anything, and it was already late. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go there early. I'm gonna take care of the
Look at
shoveling
that.
for her.
That's something.
And I'm gonna get in the house. I'm gonna dress the dogs up in their Christmas outfits, take them out to Whiz.
And no snowmobile,
feed
right? The
'em.
shovel. No snowmobile.
No, I did not take a
Snowmobile. A
snowmobile.
snow machine?
Or snow
Snow machine.
Sorry, snow
Blower.
plow. Or snow.
No,
snow
it
blower.
was uneven brick with a shovel, which is so
Wow.
fun. There's nothing like dealing with uneven
Oh my
sidewalk.
God. Throw your
brick.
shoulder out.
Well, of course, your
It's just like-
cobblestone driveway.
Yeah,
Quaint.
where it's just like,
Historic Franklin would have nothing else.
well, there's nothing better than hitting that spot where it's like, and you can't go any further, and then you have to lift the shovel a little bit and go over. Like I was dealing with that the whole time, so it was fun, and I did some of that. So I know what you mean, E. But
I actually did. No,
as long as it's not too heavy. That really heavy
Yeah.
sleet snow.
No, you're right. Christmas Day
sucks.
was my brother. My brother said, "Why don't we do?" But that was the funny. I mean, I did it at like 8:00 on Christmas Eve, and there was still another 3-4 inches freaking Christmas Day. So it was
Yeah.
like it's almost like I didn't do it.
Hey,
Yeah.
how much money will you need in retirement? Are you
Lots.
sure you won't outlive your money? Having a plan today means that you can adjust as your life changes. Retirement doesn't have to be a mystery. Contact our buddy Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial today to learn the answer to one of the most important questions for your retirement. Call today, 248-626-2000, and ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
I went through the gamut of feelings this Christmas. I had the joy, the wonderment of it all, the suspense, the pain and suffering of the holiday season, I don't know how you guys dealt with it, and if you had fun.
Describe your pain and suffering. What does that mean?
Oh, I wish I could give names because this story would be so much better with names. Ricky. That's all I'll say is Ricky. Ricky, you're too old for those pants, first off. Those jeans are meant for a 20-year-old, Ricky. You're not 20. That hairstyle belongs with a 20-year-old, too, Ricky.
What are you
talking
about?
I went to, I had to go to a store, and it was one of those, like, last minute. I knew I could pick up a few things, one of those Bed Bath & Beyond runs. Oh, they've got those socks that chicks like. I'll get a pair for Beth. And
I thought you were just going to give the Panoose this year. That's what I did.
Oh, yeah, well, I give that too, but I wanted to give something little stocking stuffers, if you will. Not just me as the stocking stuffer, if you catch my drift.
The stuffer.
And so I go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I've literally got a pair of socks and a couple rolls of wrapping paper. I needed new wrapping paper. So I'm in line. I'm next in line. Next in line, no problem. I figured the lines are going to be out the door. Most of them they were. And this fucking guy is in front of me. I'm not kidding, Jay. He's returning a 6-year-old mattress topper that's in the box. 6-year-old mattress topper.
You have to go to a special line for that? He's in the general population checkout line?
It ended with me going, "You've got to be shitting me." And him turning around and looking at me like, "What? What?" 30 minutes I stood in line. They went through 2 managers, 4 employees, 3 gift cards. Oh, I forgot. I brought all these 20% off coupons. Hold on. He's checked out at this point. The line is now halfway through the store. And the hens behind me are just like, they're getting out. They're going out of their cage.
The feathers are getting ruffled.
Dude, feathers were ruffled. And finally I had to speak up for the ladies because they were turning around to each other like, this is unbelievable. You know when you can hear the whispers?
Sure.
And Rick's not feeling. He doesn't give a shit. Ricky doesn't care. He's doing his thing, no problem. And finally, when he was like, "Oh, I forget my thing," he pulls out a stack of these things, and now he wants to redo his whole thing so he can pay with these. And that's when I was just like, "You got to be shitting me, bro!" Like 30 minutes I've been standing here to grab a couple things of fucking wrapping paper.
Did you consider putting your shit down and leaving? I've done that.
You know what? It was. I would, but it gets to a point where it's like I got to see this thing out. This is
moreover, you're thinking this could end at any moment, right?
Yes.
And now I've already invested 25 minutes.
That's always the gamble in those things, right? Is that you start getting to this point of this tipping point of like, now I've been here a half hour. I'm going to walk out the door, and like it's stubbornness.
I did that with recently with my Greater Media stuff. Greater Media had been sold to a new company, and so our 401ks or whatever it was had been sold to a new company. And if you wanted to take that money and it's yours, you could give it to someone like Merck, have him start investing it and blah, blah, blah for your future. So they're like, you got to call this company though and get the ball rolling on it. So I called them and it's like, we're experiencing call times, blah, blah, blah. Hang on the line. And I hung on the line. I set the phone down and I was just going about my day. 2 hours. I sat and played chicken for 2 fucking hours before I finally went, okay, I quit.
Whoa.
I quit. You win. Yeah, and I haven't gone back to them yet. They're on the list. What I was actually thinking was, it's holiday season. Prank shows are a big deal. Is it possible? I'm like, is it possible there's swear to God, my thought was, there could be a camera in here, and then I'm going to walk out. Yes, I'm going to walk out, and there's going to be someone going, "Oh my God, I can't believe how long you hung in there with this obnoxious behavior going on." That was what was in my head. So I'm like,
"You win $10,000."
Yeah, sign these release papers so we can play you on ABC's. What would you do for an upcoming episode or something? I swear to God, that was my thought. It was so obnoxious, and this guy didn't give a shit.
What his name is Ricky because he was filling out forms and he was.
I know his first and last name and exactly how to spell him because he had to give it over and over and over and over and over every time a new employee came up to deal with him to try and fix his fucking problem. I swear to God, I'm sitting here, dude. I've got this cart and I've just got a pair of socks and 2 rolls of my paper in it. And he's bought one of those those beer sample things that are real popular, and it's sitting on the ground there, and I'm like, I almost want to kick this fucking thing out of the way so Rick doesn't see it again, and now I'm dealing with this, and so I'm like, well, maybe he didn't want it, and he just set it on the ground. As he's going out the door, he starts turning, he's like, oh. And I'm like, that's what it was like, dude, are you fucking serious right now? And then he had to go and ring that up, and the hens there's feathers flying all over the fucking store. And then, so I'm like, so finally Rick leaves. Ricky. What 50-year-old goes by Ricky, by the way? Doesn't that tell you something
his
about
date
him?
Of birth too, don't you? His DOB.
He gave it. I could be a real dick, and I could rattle off the last 4 of his social right
Wow.
now. I could rattle off. I'll give it to you.
What's weird to me is why didn't some of the other workers just open another register? If you said several came up.
Make sure the camera can't see that. That's the last name, and that's the last 4 of his social security. I'm not kidding. So then I get outside to the parking lot, and so he leaves, and I turn around, and I go, ladies, this is going to be a breeze. And they're like, thank God, and I'm like, yeah. Boom, boom. I had coupons. Fuck them. We're foregoing the coupons. I'm not saving 40 cents right now. These ladies got places to be. So I pay with cash, and I'm fucking gone. Get out to my car, which is almost a mile from the door, because everybody and their brother's out shopping on Christmas Eve or whatever. Snow is coming down. Roads are shitty. I get out to the parking lot. I back out of my spot, and I start to pull forward. And
Ricky hits you.
I'm stopped.
Oh.
I'm stopped. I'm like, oh, fuck, go ahead, sir. Apparently you need to back out, too. And someone starts backing out and then realizes they haven't cut the wheel hard enough. They pull forward again, and they take 2. We
They're
start
doing the Austin Powers in the middle of the hallway thing with
Right,
the golf
right.
cart.
Yeah.
4 times.
Fuck.
4 times. Ricky had to back his giant fucking Yukon out of the parking lot while on his fucking cell phone.
Do you think God sent Ricky to test your holiday cheer?
This is
Dude.
Mike's Job.
I've never wanted to take my own car and put it through the side and just
What was he
T-bone.
driving?
Giant fucking Yukon.
Yeah.
And it took 4 times back and forth.
That's
Like,
Rick. That's Rick, man.
Yeah, dude, if you know Rick, I mean, and he's probably I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I'm not
whatever,
sure of
but
that.
I was just like, if I was in line, if I was that guy in line, I'd be like, guys, I am so sorry. I feel like such a dick this is taking. So I would acknowledge that this is abnormal behavior.
Surprised they don't have a customer service thing off to the side where they handle that sort of thing.
Well, and why
You're just
did
in
you-
the
like I
general
said, why-
population lane. That ain't right, man.
I don't
Why do these
know.
other employees
Be
why
like,
can't they
hey,
open
sir,
up another lane
please,
though,
yeah,
or
step
something?
aside. We'll handle this off the side.
Yeah.
I
That
got to
just
get
seems
this.
odd to me that they had two
I blame the
managers
employees.
come
I don't
up.
blame Rick.
I
Rick had
think-
business to
I-
attend to.
I- two managers
Here's why I blame Rick, Jay, because I'm usually with you. It's like, you know what? This is their home field, the employees. They've got a responsibility to make sure that having only 2 lines open with lines out the door is not beneficial. Everybody, they have to recognize, can we get a cashier to register 4, register 5 as well? Like that's their job to make sure that happens. But Rick was not, Rick's got to, if that's, he's got to be on top of his coupons. He's got to know, dude, when you're doing stuff like this, okay, this is where this got. Yeah, I'm going to need you to check how much money is left on this gift card. Can you also check how much money is left on this
my
gift
God.
card?
Yeah, that needs to be done when you're at home.
I want to return this, and I want to put 100 of it on this gift card, and then whatever remaining balance is, I want put on this gift card, and then we're going to pay with 3 different credit cards. We're going to pay for these items with this credit card. At one point, it's like, dude, there has to be a hidden camera here.
Yeah.
This is so outrageous.
Wow.
There has to be a hidden camera, and so that's how So it stressed me to the max. It pushed my buttons. I got out of there. I was able to calm back down and kind of find the humor in it and go, whatever. We can talk about it on the show. I guess that is the present that is Ricky. And hopefully someone knows Ricky. God knows me. Ricky's a fucking
Last
listener.
4 social.
So anyway, how did you run into any shopping debacles, Christmas disappointments?
No shopping debacles. I mean, I was humbled, to say the least.
Excuse me?
We know in past years I've received World's Greatest Dad mugs, World's
no.
Greatest Dad paperweights, things like that.
Yeah.
Received a Dad Rocks. I mean, this is the equivalent of a participation medal,
Wow.
participation ribbon
I
in the
mean-
world of daddom.
Is that even a
gave
real
that to
rock?
you?
It's not even a real rock.
That's not. Dude.
It's a plastic rock
Who gave that to
emblazed
you?
across the front. My little sweet pie.
And that was her only gift? Or
Dad Rocks.
Not
Yeah.
another gift?
Oh.
That's my rock that you're hitting.
Do you want E to touch this or no?
You can touch it.
It's got a guitar on
The
it.
guitar's pretty sweet.
I mean, you know, I had a hell of a run there for 8 or 9 years. Best dad in the world, world's greatest dad. I had the whole gamut of mugs, and now I have a Dad Rocks.
And dude, I don't know if you've
Wait,
noticed
rocks?
this. I don't know if this.
Oh, I've
matters.
noticed.
What have you noticed?
I've noticed that the fucking guitar is bent.
No. The guitar is not bent.
It is bent.
It's not bent. It's a left-handed guitar.
No, but look at the top. It's bent too.
What do you mean it's bent?
Where do you even get that?
The top of it's bent.
Where do you buy one of
You
these?
mean it's off?
Yeah.
A lot of
the
times they're like
rocks.
that. The headstock. That's the headstock. They can be off like that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's a left-handed guitar. You're not left-handed, are you?
Not left-handed.
So, I mean, I'm sure that why would
So this must be a mistake, is what you're saying. I'm not
I mean,
left-handed.
the whammy bar is here on the bottom, which would be in order to play this guitar, you would play it like this, Jay, right? And strum. So your whammies are, this is a left-handed player. You would not play a guitar
No.
like this, even in air
No.
guitar form. Dad rocks.
I know.
Wow, that is humbling. I've known you, dude. Most of your mugs, because you drink most of your coffee here,
I had a string, didn't I?
dude.
I had
I've got a world's greatest dad
Number
mug upstairs.
one dad.
I've got. Do I have a best?
Caution, dad at work.
Yeah, that was an actual like caution
Yeah.
flag.
Now I get dad rocks.
Are you gonna? Did you say anything at the time of?
No, I accepted it, and you know, it's humbled. You could tell. I was
Sorry about
humbled.
that. Sorry you had to go through
Wow.
that. How was the rest of it? Were the kids satisfied?
Kids
Was
were
the-
very satisfied. It was great.
Did the wife enjoy her Panus present of
Yes,
Panus
she
this
did.
year? Good, good.
She did very
good.
much. Yeah, everything went well. I mean, the weather was the big thing. I mean,
was,
I had
delightful.
to go across town twice in that shit. So spent a lot of time in the car singing Christmas carols, Mike. Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah, very much
You
like
were?
Clark Griswold.
Ah,
Clark
yes.
and Ellen.
Dude.
Russ, take it away.
You left me that movie over the holidays. The
What'd you
Christmas.
think?
I love it. You know, there's something that just is so dumb to me about the scene when Clark is upstairs in the attic. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to give spoilers away for Christmas Vacation, but
Yeah, of course. That's the slow down moment of the movie.
well, when he's up there and he's wearing the women's clothes, I've always hated the comic relief. I step on a plank, it smacks
Oh,
my
sure.
face. Then I turn around and I step on another plank, it smashes my face.
Yeah,
We're going to
I
do this
agree.
gag 4 times.
Yeah.
That movie gets good when Uncle Eddie shows up.
Cousin
Eddie, excuse me. Cousin Eddie is the key to that movie.
Of course.
I mean, and from then on,
no
it's
denying
awesome. And it was driving me nuts who the little boy was. Russ,
Mm-hmm.
right here, Dad. And it's the kid from what's his name, Jeremy Glicky or
I
something.
don't know his name, but he's on a very popular show right now, which I can't think of. With
Yeah,
Sheldon.
it's the nerd show, right? The whatever that.
Oh, Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, he's one of the nerds from
That's
Big
the thing
Bang
about
Theory.
the vacation movies is they switch out the kids every movie.
Yeah.
you
The
know,
husband and the wife stay the same, but the
Correct.
kids change, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Beverly D'Angelo and
Chevy.
yeah, and Chevy, yeah, are the same. Anyway, I watched that. Trying to think if I watched any other
I
Halloween.
watched Die Hard,
Oh,
which
awesome.
is a classic Christmas movie.
Dude, why do
Clay?
Bill Clay?
Bill Clay.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, he's
it
awesome.
honestly is.
Oh my God! Don't hurt me. When he turns on the American accent.
Yes,
Hans.
It shows great acting, actually. His versatility in those scenes. But dude, every year, and it didn't fail. This year again, there was debate: is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Fuck yes,
Dude,
it is.
I mean, what is it? Nagasaki Towers or something?
Takanumi or something.
Yeah,
Dude, it totally is. Like it's not just like Christmas is referenced once or something. The whole thing. I mean, it's taking place on Christmas Eve, and
it's
he's
the
flying
Christmas
in-
party at
yeah,
work.
he's flying in for Christmas to see his kids, and it's the Christmas party.
Aren't they singing Christmas carols in the limo or something, or in one of the cars?
Christmas in Hollis is playing prominently.
Yes,
while
DMC.
Argyle drives him into the building.
Argyle. Trying to just get a piece.
Yeah,
Always trying to get a piece. I believe he's on his cell phone.
it's very much a Christmas movie.
I have a machine gun too now. Ho, ho, ho. I mean, it's everything about that. Come out to the coast. We'll have some laughs. Like I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's a great holiday movie. But I'm shocked every year. The
Bruce
debate.
Willis is so cringy in it, though. All his, hey pal, what's going on out there? And he's talking to the black dude out there.
Yeah,
so
the
cringy.
cop.
Yeah, he's on a fucking walkie-talkie. Everybody's on the same channel. He knows Hans is listening.
Yeah.
but he can't help but talk to his pal out there.
Yeah.
who he just met over a walkie-talkie.
Yeah,
It's just cringy.
But he thinks he's gonna die. He doesn't think he's gonna make it home.
Yeah, they're talking about, do you have kids and how'd you get
yeah.
behind the desk and all this shit.
Forgot about that
It's-
douchey scene.
Yeah, it's cringy.
Where they're telling life stories about each other's
Yeah.
families.
It's like, dude, just shoot something, okay?
But it kind of ties it up nicely at the end, because if they would have had the hug out scene and like maybe we should get our kids together,
Yeah.
thing wouldn't have worked if you didn't have that connection with them. Aren't there a lot of "I'll be back," kind of catchphrases that came out of that?
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay.
I don't know. That's about it.
Yeah, I thought
Ho,
there were.
ho, ho.
Yeah, it's still a great movie, but there are some other Christmas movies that people are saying now would not be politically correct for the way we are in 2017.
Oh, no.
Oh, you mean like probably anyone that was made past 1995? I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah. Well,
There's always going to be jokes and stories in anything that will not go now anymore.
Yeah, I guess, but there are certain movies, A Christmas Story, Die
Okay.
Hard, that people pull out every year. Like, oh yeah,
Right.
it's the holiday season. We have to watch this.
Yeah.
And have you guys seen Love Actually?
No.
No. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think I have either. I think it's a chick flick rom-com type thing.
So, maybe you saw it with
And
your
that's,
dad.
that's my point. I maybe have seen it.
It's become regarded as as problematic by some. Andrew Lincoln. Andrew Lincoln. That's the guy from Walking Dead. He's the main guy in Walking Dead. Rick.
Yeah, looking at it here, I don't believe I have seen it. Although it's a movie I would see.
Pull up the pull up the picture, E, so we can see what it even is. But his character Mark is in love with his best friend Peter. Peter's wife Juliet, played by Keira Knightley, and he's tasked with filming their wedding video, I guess.
Like that's just a movie like the cover, but I'm just.
Yeah. So he's tasked with that, and then he spends the whole time like zooming in on her face a lot because he's so in love with her. There's also the story of the Prime Minister, who's played by Hugh Grant, and his secretary Natalie,
course.
falling for each other. But in this modern world, the seduction of a secretary by the most powerful man in the country would certainly be frowned upon. Another season, we see Colin manage to take home not one, not two, but 3 American girls after charming them in a bar with a British accent.
So you mean you
Frowned
saw a guy
upon, too.
picking up girls? Is what you saw?
But picks up 3 of them, E?
Oh.
He's viewing them as just holes, as
Yeah.
games.
That's shameful.
Yeah, totally shameful.
I can't believe it.
It's a Wonderful Life.
No.
What's wrong with that, man?
The scene in question from It's a Wonderful Life shows George shouting in Mary's face after an unpleasant phone call. Do we remember that?
I don't. I got to admit. I've not seen that in
Yeah,
years. I'm not even
I-
sure I've sat and watched the whole
I've
thing.
seen the
for-
whole-
I don't think I have either. It's black and white, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the whole thing, and I know what you're talking about.
In the middle of ranting at her, he grabs her and gives her a passionate kiss. Visibly shaken, Mary falls into his arms. It's difficult to imagine a scene like this getting past editors in a family film.
God.
So he's not getting proper consent because they're in a fight? Is that the...
You know what, when you said that, I was watching, me and my brother were watching, for some reason, we were waiting for something to happen, so we were watching Mary Tyler Moore's, not Mary Tyler Moore, Lucy, I Love Lucy Christmas special. Oof. And Lucy was mad, Lucy was worried because she had bought a dress that was a little too much money that Rick had, he told her she could spend 100, she spent 500.
Did Ricky backhand her? I could see Ricky backhanding
her. She spent 100, or she spent 500, she was allowed 100. And so she's trying to come up with a way to
She
not
spent
have
$500 in that show. Honestly, that must have been like $1 million. Back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
And
So,
Rick gave her 100. He allotted for
Yeah,
100.
it's
This is
not bad, Rick.
If she takes the back of a hand at this point, I think it's at least
well, she's
the
trying to come up,
discussion of whether it's deserved or not should be had.
she's trying to come up with a way that will get Ricky not to be too mad at her. So she determines that she's going to get a really, really bad sunburn to the point that it will hurt so bad. And then when she shows it to her friend, what was it, Ethel, I think is her
Yeah,
friend?
sure.
She's like, well, yeah, so Ricky wouldn't hit me now, would he? You don't think? Like there's no way Ricky would hit me with a suntan.
Oh, my God.
I just started going like, oh, my God. And
That's hilarious,
and
actually.
then that actually led into the Dick Van Dyke and the show, and we watched that in the end because we were just kind of watching these old-time things and to see if they would still be funny, and they kind of were, by the way. I didn't think they were that bad. But Dick Van Dyke, same thing. His wife, I don't know, something happened, and then the wife was like, and she's trying to tell her friend, and she's like, are you worried? And she's like, well, no, he's not going to hit me or anything. And I'm like, man, you couldn't even make that as a joke right now. The notion that you could be
Wasn't that the honeymooners like big hook too? It was
Boom.
pow, right in the kisser.
Yeah, you're right.
To the moon, Alice. He was going to punch her to the moon. Scrooged, Bill Murray's
Yep.
movie. Remember Scrooged?
oh, I'm sure there's stuff in there.
While the films has stood the test of time, some of the scenes certainly place it in a less enlightened era. In one scene, we see Murray's character Frank Cross shown an office party by the ghost of Christmas past, in which some questionable behavior occurs. One of the secretaries, this is so like Carol, gets shit-faced drunk and starts photocopying her ass on the photocopy machine and then starts handing it out to all the guys in the office.
Right. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. At the same party, Frank sees his married boss attempt to flirt with the same secretary, which Frank sees as behavior to aspire to. Like cheating on your wife and getting to bang your secretary who's drunk.
Wow.
Home Alone, most people have used it. It's just child neglect. This is just pure and simple
It's
child
a movie.
neglect.
It's a fucking
You
movie.
didn't mean to forget him.
I know, but
Which
like
is
that-
absurd, by the way.
dude,
I don't care if they have 10 people or not. That is insane that you would be on the plane. You'd be like, whoa.
Where's Kevin?
yeah, well, I'm willing to let that go for the very first one. When you start getting into Home Alone 2 and
Yeah.
3, Lost in New York City or whatever it was, it's like, what are we...
Now there's a pattern in practice.
Yeah, I mean, these are just shitty parents, and they're pointing this out to us. The Santa Claus, and this one really hit home for me. I feel
With Tim
for
Allen?
with Tim Allen's character.
Oh, no.
Because I guess that's the one where he kills Santa Claus accidentally. I don't think he murdered him. And then he starts turning into Santa so the magic of Christmas can continue, right?
Yeah.
So his hair goes white and he starts packing on the pounds. And now the whole movie, other characters are poking fun at fat shaming him, essentially, for the fact that
Dude,
he's put on all this weight.
That's everything, dude.
Yeah.
Every comedy ever makes fun of stuff like this.
And then we've got Bridget Jones' Diary. I wouldn't have even thought of that as a Christmas movie, but okay. She's pursued by her boss, Bridget is, who sends flirty emails from his work account telling her how great her tits look. So the boss sending an underling an email like that would be frowned upon today. They later get together before he cheats on her with another coworker. It's hard to imagine a film in 2017 that depicts a high-powered man seducing a lower-level employee
Really?
as romantic or acceptable on any level.
Can't have stories now, huh?
I go back to A Christmas Story and the famous fa-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra.
Right.
That
I can't believe that wasn't in there. I mean, there's some stuff in there probably that.
Well, that one's the one. That's not on the list here, but
Okay.
that's the one. I know they used to at least edit that scene out
Chinese
of.
restaurant at the end.
Yes, the Chinese restaurant. They would edit at least the fa-ra-ra-ra-ra
Well, at that
part.
point, you're like 2 hours into a movie that isn't that good anyway, and you're just like, end it.
man.
You know,
People love A Christmas Story.
Baby, it's cold outside. Apparently, people want to end that because it's like about sort of like a date rape.
Really?
I mean,
Baby, it's
a-
cold outside. The
Baby,
song?
it's cold outside. You know, and the guy's
Yeah.
trying to get her to stay and just have one drink. And she's like, I've got to go home. My father will be pacing the floor. And all this shit. I saw some editorial written like, can we be done with it, Baby, it's cold outside?
Oh, people need to lighten up. People need to lighten up.
I agree. You know what's
Seriously.
funny? I had not thought about this, but I heard a comedian talking about this, like some of these Christmas movies, like Santa Claus with Tim Allen and stuff. And he pointed out that the fact is, it's kind of funny that like these movies take place in an area where Santa does exist. Like in those movies, anyway, Santa exists, but no adults believe in it. Well, how come every year they're getting presents under these trees that they don't remember buying whatsoever? and then when Santa is proven to be real, they're like shocked by
I know.
it. Like, they're just
Make
like,
a believer out of me.
like I don't know. I don't remember.
I didn't
buying,
fill that stocking, did you?
But then they're just like, I don't remember buying this kayak. Well, guess we must have. Like,
That's funny.
And there's always an underlying theme of like, you have to have enough Christmas spirit to save
Yeah.
Christmas. You know,
Yeah.
how many fucking movies have been based on that?
and believe, the belief
Just
in it all.
believe. Have
Just
a spirit.
believe.
Well, we
It's a
watched-
magical time of year.
we didn't mean. I don't even think we did not mean to. My brother was turning on the TV, and they were on AMC. They were just playing Christmas themed shows, and we ended up watching Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh, God.
Oh, dude, how bad is that?
It's so bad, dude. For one, there's the whole part of the whole movie.
Ernest, did he start with like the Guernsey ice cream commercial?
Yeah.
Something like,
Yes,
know what I mean,
dude.
Vern?
Dude, I looked him
Wasn't
up.
that his thing?
I have known him from those movies, so I looked him up on Wikipedia, and I was like, it's one of those things where once you start going down a rabbit hole, like, dude, he was like wanted to do theater his whole life. He went to he learned Shakespeare at some school in Virginia for like actual theater
Is his
acting.
name like Ernest P. Worrell or something
That's
like
his
that?
character name,
Yeah.
and it was yes.
What was
it
his name? Because he's dead now, I think.
He
Isn't
died in 2000 of lung cancer.
And didn't he
actually.
start out kind of doing like a syndicated
Yes, these
commercial
commercials
type? I think
for-
he even did like Art Van or something
totally
like that.
did.
Yes,
One's
yeah.
in Detroit.
Pull up one of those
What are
commercials,
you talking about,
because
Vern?
Know what I mean, Vern?
know what I mean,
what
Vern?
was the dairy thing that he did? I said Guernsey, but I don't
have no
remember what
idea.
it was. But
I just remember them.
You are right.
Know what I mean, Vern?
know what I mean, Vern?
He trademarked. You know what I mean, Vern? By the way, eventually.
I would hope so. Yeah, that seems like one that he would.
And Vern is just some person off camera.
right,
Is that
it's
the
not
deal?
a
Like,
person.
It's,
like,
is
Or
it
it's
Jim
the camera
Varney? Jim
holder?
Varney.
Jim
is his
Varney,
name.
yes.
Yeah.
playing
But
Ernest
dude, it was
P.
like
Worrell.
Ernest Goes to Jail, Ernest
Goes
Saves
to Camp.
Christmas Camp.
Yes. Well, what happened is his first big one. I forget what the first big one that made it was, but it was like a $3 million budget, and it made like $26 million.
Holy shit.
So then it just, why wouldn't they keep making some of
Dude,
these?
I think I saw one at the theater.
Really?
Honest to God.
As a kid or
I think I
something?
might have seen Ernest Goes to Camp at the theater.
I still have not seen Ernest Goes to Camp. I wonder, like, I probably saw the first one and thought it was badass, you know, the whole Notre Dame. By the
it's
way,
like
as far as like, Jay, you're a grocery connoisseur. Would you pack these items into this grocery bag that we're looking at here?
You got a pineapple, aluminum foil, some leafy, I don't know. Is
Lettuce
that just
head.
lettuce? Yeah.
A steak, grapes.
Yeah, that's a bad bagger right there.
Doesn't that seem like, boy, oh boy, you would not want this combination of products in one paper bag.
Right.
Maybe they bagged them differently back then. Let's watch a second of it.
Looks like you're turning into quite the little shopper. So you got your fresh produce, and your fresh meat, and your country fresh milk. Country fresh, Vern. Fresh from the country. Country, fresh,
Shit.
fresh, country. Catch my drift? That's why they call it country fresh. Now, it don't take no mental heavyweight to figure that out, does it, Vern? Know what I mean?
Wow.
And they do get a little better. If you look, that's like, actually ended up watching a few of those, and that was actually a really.
What are some other ones?
Well, just like, I don't know, I would just do Ernest commercials because they get a little, not better, but I mean, that is like.
They can't get much worse. What is he supposed to be? Is he supposed to be like total hillbilly guy?
Yeah.
Is Vern a city guy? Some shit like
I don't know. I
you went and saw Ernest Goes to Camp in the
think so.
theaters, dude.
I
Like
think
what,
so.
the family
I mean,
or
like, look
something?
at-
Or
I don't remember. I just have a.
If you look at this one has like 54 minutes of the best of Ernest commercials.
Ernest Goes to Camp in 1987. Was I sitting there in 1987 watching Ernest Goes to
dude,
Camp?
you're 15 at the time. Like you,
Don't age me, Mike. I was 14.
14 maybe, depending on what month it came out.
Yeah, I could see a 14-year-old sitting there like, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just, see some
Yeah.
dumb movie.
What was his first one? Do you have the IMDb there, Jay?
I
Is
just
that what you're
pulled up
looking up?
Ernest Goes to Camp.
I want to know what his first
I
one
think
was.
the
'cause
Dairy
I
one-
would have
no, I
probably
really-
seen that in the theaters too. His first movie.
Oh, the first big movie. Sorry,
It would have been Ernest Goes to Something, right?
I don't think it matters. I think they're all the fucking same.
right.
Yeah.
They exactly are all the same, and it
So this one's getting better.
I mean, not better.
Oh,
but
this
it's
is-
just, it's
this is
more
Ernest.
long. I don't know.
This is labeled Ernest
Look
P.
what I
Worrell's
found in my
best
dad's
commercial
closet.
ever.
You know, I bet you this is from the big one. You know, WW2. Boy,
He's
I bet
holding a
them were some
gun.
great times. I know, because I never miss Hogan's Heroes on WDBJ7. You know, with Schultz and Hogan and Commandant Clint. Hogan's Heroes. Weekdays on your hometown station. You know, Vern, this must be some kind of a cigarette lighter.
I bet it's gonna go off. I just knew it.
Right.
I know nothing. I see nothing.
Wow.
Oh, he ends it with the famous lines from
Schultz.
the show. Schultz, I know nothing.
Yeah, and in
Ugh.
that movie, in Ernest Saves Christmas, like the very beginning of the movie, he's doing this cab driving, and there's this young like teenage girl, and you're just led to believe that she's ran away and she's trying to ditch out on a meal or something from a restaurant. And for the whole movie, he's just housing this teenage girl, and now he has Santa, and they're trying to save Christmas. And at the very end, they reference like, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna call my mom, and I called my mom even, and I'm gonna go home. And he's like, and Santa's like, she's gonna miss you, and this will be good. But it's like they go through this whole movie, but this dude just has a 16-year-old girl living in his house. And they're searching for Santa Claus to save Christmas.
Some holes there. Okay.
Yeah, a few.
Hey, running through January 2nd, our friends at Zott Ford are offering employee pricing for everyone. Check out what you can lease for under $100 a month. A new 17 Ford Fusion, a new 17 Ford Taurus, a new 18 Ford Escape, or lease the following under $200 a month. A new 17 Ford Explorer, a new 18 Ford Edge, a new 18 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive, Super Cab, or Super Crew. But remember, employee pricing for everyone at Zott Ford ends on January 2nd.
Of course, it wouldn't be the holiday season without some nice disappointment going into the big day. And that would be the Lions, of course. Dude, how
I love it.
pathetic.
I fucking love it.
It's sad. Obviously, this team wasn't going anywhere, but it saddens me where it's just like, yeah, next week's irrelevant, and anything after that is pointless, so whatever. But I didn't know that we were going to have articles coming out declaring us racist if we didn't think Caldwell should still be the
Right.
coach.
because that's the reason.
Dude,
That's unbelievable, man.
Again, I'm waiting. Like, is this one of those things where the hidden camera's going to pop out and just see what your reaction is to something like this? Like, this is so over the line and absurd to me.
So what's their record?
They are
9-6.
9-6.
Okay, and so they're out of the playoff hunt. There's no way they can make
Wait,
it.
are they 8-6?
I don't know.
And so they could end.
Easus, maybe
they would have.
Google it.
They would
I
have.
don't
Well, they
know.
would have won. They'd be 10. They'd be 10 wins if they won both. So they're 8.
Yeah.
They're 8 and 7.
So they could be 9-7
yeah,
if they win.
they're
next
8 and
week.
7.
Yeah, 9-7, 8-7, whatever. So yeah, we've got an article from Joseph Hayes today, the Times Herald, and I believe Port Huron, sports editor, and he says it's been difficult to watch the how the Lions coach Caldwell has been treated. He became the first African American coach in Detroit Lions history. Right there, I'm just like, okay, where are we going with this? Does anyone give a shit?
Was he really
what
the first
color?
African American coach in Detroit Lions history? I did not know that.
Well,
Head
yeah,
coach
I mean,
or like just. Does it say?
I mean, they
specific?
wouldn't let a black guy coach a pro team in the 60s and before that, right? Or 70s? No. So, yeah, I mean, if you think about fonts and out-coach that stuff.
I guess
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, most people don't think about it. It's kind of irrelevant. You don't notice the color of his skin or
Unless you're
even
racist.
care.
Unless
Yeah.
you're racist, I would suppose.
Proving Jay is not racist. So he took over in 2014. What has followed has been a historic success for the Lions and plenty of disrespect from fans and local media.
Bullshit.
Isn't there always disrespect from the fucking fans and local media who are tired of this losing franchise? You lose 2 games in a row and the fucking fan base turns on you. It's like Philly or New York.
Yeah, how informed is this Joseph Hayes of the history of the Lions? In other words, has he lived here? Is he just some guy sitting in New York or something looking at this from afar?
I think the Times Herald is in Port Huron.
Oh,
And
okay.
his contact is an 810 number. So I'm
Okay,
assuming
so
he's
he's plugged in.
at least semi-local. Yeah. Let's go back to 2014 when Caldwell took over. Lions had just missed the playoffs the past 2 seasons, winning 11 games total. Matt Stafford was seen as a bust by many. Really? I know he had a couple injuries those first couple years, but bust? Do you remember the...
So he's going to claim Caldwell turned around Matt Stafford and made
Sure.
him into the highest paid player in the NFL.
And others thought he was regressing under Coach Jim Schwartz. So in steps Caldwell. Among lies...
I mean, there were definitely questions. I think people still think Stafford's a
Right.
bust.
I mean, that's a thing. Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
questions are fair. I don't know that I ever thought
I
that.
don't think he was widely considered a bust. I do not think that.
I don't-
think
I
most
don't
people
either.
looked at him and go, he's on a shitty team. He's got potential.
Yeah.
He's a gunslinger.
And we just coming off the whole Rodgers stuff with the shoulder injuries where it looked promising for him, and then in no time he was blown out. You know, his career was over. Charles Rodgers.
Oh, okay.
Coming off a few things like that where you had these potentially, this is the guy that's going to turn it around for the franchise, and, they look good, and then boom, they get injured, and then done. So I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so in steps Caldwell among lies and erroneous media reports that said the Lions had settled for him after striking out on the coach they really wanted. Okay, well, teams oftentimes go through 5 coaching interviews before they get to the guy that they think will be a perfect fit here. I see what he's saying there. They didn't want the black guy. They just had to settle for the black guy is kind of the implication there. It was a fitting start to the overall negativity Caldwell would experience. In his first season, he led the Lions to the second-best record in franchise
way,
history.
I don't think that's true at all. I really think I remember after the first year, and I know I'm not who he's writing about. He's writing about a lot of people, but I remember a lot of people liking Caldwell that first year.
Oh, hell yeah.
I do not recall his first year and people just going, well, no, this still sucks. I recall a lot of people feeling like a lot of hope that, wow, maybe this guy's good.
Well, and consider this, too. The last time he was a head coach was for Indy in 2011. He went 2-14.
And
Now, granted, they were tanking to get Andrew Luck.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
And didn't he win a Super Bowl with them on that team with
with
Peyton?
Dungy?
Yeah, with Dungy. So they give him credit for that. I thought he won one without Dungy, though, too, or something. I don't know. Whatever. So he leads the Lions to their second-best record in franchise history, 11-5. He was one crazy picked-up pass interference call away from leading the team to its first playoff win in 2 decades. But he never had a honeymoon. The Lions got off to a slow start the next season before regrouping, and ever since, fans have called for his removal. When the Lions won, it was in spite of Caldwell. When they lost, it was because of him. For a man only 1 win from having 3 winning seasons in his first 4 years, it's shocking to see the disrespect people have for him. This is while Caldwell has continued to do more with less each year. Gone are Calvin Johnson and Ndamukong Suh and DeAndre Levy. In their place come less talented players. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I mean, don't you think it's a thing where, okay, you can have Ndamukong Suh for $120 million, or you can have 4 guys that plug those. So it's a balancing act. I don't think it's just fair to go, oh, they don't have DeAndre Levy and Ndamukong Suh anymore, so this team's not as good. Well, that's not necessarily true.
Is the head coach not responsible for having such big mistakes, like 9 men on the field at some point? Is that not his responsibility as the head coach?
That's the thing. There's plenty of reasons to criticize this guy. I mean,
I know. I can't even believe we're even.
I suppose you can look at it and go, how were other people treated versus this guy? And I think when you do that, I think Mike's point is you see the same fucking treatment, dude. I mean, people were sick and tired of Rod Marinelli for obvious reasons. Mariucci, Morningweg, all these guys.
Yep.
Lions fans have been through it, man.
Yeah.
And to say that there's anything to do with race without any sort of proof and just supposing, well, he's a black guy and people want him gone, that is just... It's irresponsible, and it's fucking race baiting, and it's just looking for clicks, and it's looking for people like us to talk about it, honestly.
Yeah, probably,
and this guy's a piece of shit writer, in my opinion. I mean, this is all I know of him, and this is this is the one thing I've seen, and he's a piece of shit writer.
But I think he believes this. Do you think that he's going, you know what, I'm going to stir the pot and get some clicks?
Why? I mean,
maybe.
I don't know him. All I know is this article.
Yeah.
And to me, this is so outlandish and absurd.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's more likely than not he's just trying to get clicks.
Boy, that's even sadder than if that's the case.
I mean, do you see any reason you can jump to the conclusion that race has anything to do with
Of
people
course
wanting this
not.
guy gone? So
No.
why don't you jump to the conclusion that he just wants clicks?
Yeah. Because we're seeing
How
this.
can you possibly
Because we're
think
seeing
that?
this in aspects of life all over. You know, oh, I was fired because I'm black, and it's like, could it possibly be that you suck at your job, or does it always have to be a race thing? Can a white person fire someone who's not white for any reason other than the fact that they just hate that you're not like them, you don't look like them? It's stupid. It's irrelevant. And it's sowing discourse all the same. I was waiting for this guy to point out, like, well, you know, look how long Wayne Fonts was here, or look how long Matt Millen hung around. It's like, yeah, but the fan base fucking hated that. They hated William Clay Ford for giving these guys over and over and over chances. They want them blown out years
there was
before.
a freaking, his march. You know, Sean Baligian doing his march by the stadium. Millen Man March. I mean, it was not like we just sat there and said, yeah, they suck. Oh,
Christ's sakes, didn't you wear a bag on your head to show your discourse?
Yes, I wore a bag. I wore a paper bag on my head that had 0-16 with the bar is high on my head for a few games at the Silverdome.
The bar is high.
The bar is high. Didn't you wear a Fire Millen shirt at one point?
I have a signed Fire Millen shirt by Sean Baligian. I do.
So this guy says there's plenty of justified disappointment in the 2017 season. The loss to Cincinnati was indefensible. Totally agree. And then, but what did you honestly think the Lions' record would be before the season began? I can't count how many people thought the team would finish under 500 and out of playoff contention. So
do better at your job.
Totally fucking irrelevant. What I think their fucking record is going to be before the season starts is just talking horse shit by a fan base. Who cares? I mean, if that was the thought that what you've done in the past matters for next year, then why are we even playing this game? Just give the trophy to the Patriots every year, or whoever's the shit this year. Like, the Rams won 3 games last year. They've got the second best record in football this year. So what is your point? Well, what did you think they were going to do this year? I don't know. What did you think the Rams were going to do this year? Is it Todd Gurley that did that, and Goff, or is it their fucking brilliant coach? Give me a break, man. This is before the Lions lost their starting left tackle for half this. Don't even start with injuries, dude. Every team goes through them. With a clear lack of talent at running back, fans still expected the Lions to take a big step forward this season. I don't know. Maybe you blame the coach for not grabbing a quality running back. Joe Mixon, perhaps.
What a terrible game.
I know Joe Mixon has some issues. Joe Mixon would have been a hell of a running back for the Lions. He seems to be doing great things in Cincinnati, and the town has adopted that guy as their own. I understand it comes with a little bit of heat. Blonde girl with a broken jaw. I understand it. However, want to win games. So anyways,
he doesn't pick the players. I mean, Quinn picks the players. So if you're gonna go there and say, well, you know, he should have had some input on demanding a better running back, that's one thing. But he's obviously not picking them.
So he says, if you thought they were going to take a big step forward this season, that's laughable. But that's what's expected of Caldwell. He has the best record of any Lions coach in modern Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. Not good enough. He won twice at Lambeau. He turned Stafford into the most clutch quarterback in NFL history. Did you give Caldwell? Honestly, I would say that about any head coach. Like, didn't you used to bitch about, like, dude, Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers. Why would you give Mariucci credit for?
I've never thought that, I guess, but it is kind of interesting why Caldwell doesn't get any credit for Stafford's development. It's true. To the extent they give any coach credit, they give that Jim Bob Cooter. Well, he's the offensive quarterback. He was the quarterback coach, now offensive coordinator. Like, why doesn't Caldwell get any? I know that's not his role as quarterback coach, but he was Peyton Manning's quarterback coach.
Well, I think the reason Jim Bob Cooter, dumbest name in sports, I think we can all agree with that.
Yes.
Jim Bob Cooter, I think, gets so much credit because of the stark difference of when Curly Lambeau's kid, or whatever, when Vince Lombardi's kid, Joe Lombardi, when he was doing that job, and then he stopped doing that job, was fired, and Jim Bob Cooter stepped in, and all of a sudden the team played much better.
Is it possible that coaches' influence over teams and effect on teams is vastly overrated and overblown?
Sure it is. And it's probably in some level true that sometimes it's vastly overrated, sometimes it's underrated. I do not have the problem with Caldwell that a lot of Lions fans have. I do not blame him personally, but I'm personally offended at this article, as if Lions fans would go, yeah, I'd like a winning season, but fuck, not with a black guy running it. Not with a black guy running it.
Losing and he's black? Are you kidding me?
I'd rather lose every year and have a white guy at the helm than, God forbid, win with one of them blacks.
Here's the other.
It's just absurd.
The other thing that grates on people about Caldwell is he's supposedly, everybody says he's such a nice guy, he's a great guy, Christian guy, all this stuff. You'd never know it by the way he treats the media at press conferences, man.
Yeah.
He's a cocksucker at press conferences.
He is
really
a dick, isn't he? But he's not going to sell his guys out. He's not, that didn't Wayne Fonts kind of get that tag too, as a guy who wouldn't sell his players out? And
he was the ultimate just yes man. He was, what a buffoon that guy was.
So I would love to have actually seen like what he did at practices and stuff. Wayne Fonts.
This is where this guy says it's still not good enough. It'll never be good enough. Look throughout sports and find someone
a Super Bowl
in a similar position to Jim Caldwell. Vikings coach Mike Zimmer. Okay, well, they've turned it around and got the best winning. Like, people were calling for Caldwell's head for a few years, and they kept giving him chance. Mike Zimmer's got one of the best records in football on a third-string quarterback. Like, okay, Dallas Cowboys, Jason Garrett, they wanted his ass gone after year one, and he turned that thing around and made it through a few rounds of the playoffs, and now it's like, okay, trust me, Dallas fans will want his ass gone, too, if they continue to fall off. Stan Van Gundy, you guys watch way more Pistons games than I do. Tell me if this is accurate. President coach of the Pistons, hired the general manager, yet the Pistons are spinning their wheels in year 4 of his tenure, and I have not heard one argument in favor of his dismissal.
Not true.
I wasn't thinking that was true either.
It is kind of amazing Stan doesn't get more heat, but the fan base isn't as passionate as the Lions. Too. They don't really care right now.
Yeah, that's true.
They're mired in that
mired in mediocrity.
Yeah.
Is that what? I think that's what you're trying to say.
Well, it's not the NFL.
Where's the NFL? Right. It's foremost on everybody's mind. Everybody is dying for the Lions just turn the corner.
Yeah.
And they're sick of just being mediocre.
And haven't the Pistons been exciting? I thought there's many times I come down here and you guys are in the middle of a discussion about some exciting things the Pistons are doing.
Yeah, they're building. It's a different league, though. Like, people can't honestly believe that the Pistons are really going to go anywhere because that league is just made up of, if you don't have a couple superstars, you're not going to win it.
And the better team wins. When you've got 7 games in a series, I mean, that's the one sport where traditionally the best team wins. And so if the Pistons, I think we can all agree they're not the best team, but they're exciting, right? I mean, they've won some games that people, I mean, didn't they beat Golden State twice maybe? And
once on the road, one lost at home. But on the road.
That was close, maybe overtime, that one?
It was close. It was close.
And then I think they beat
Boston on the road, San Antonio on the road, I believe.
Yeah. So some exciting things there. And this is where this article really pissed me off, and we'll move on. Let's be real. It's obvious that many fans don't like Caldwell, and it doesn't have anything to do with winning. For many Lions fans...
Honestly, that is so insulting. Not true at all.
Caldwell can do nothing right. These are the same fans that called African Americans thugs for quietly taking a knee during the national... I love that stupid argument. Quietly taking a knee. Yeah, well, it's not so quiet when you're a veteran of this country seeing members of your country taking a knee during the one time they're supposed to be thinking highly of their military. Take it for what you want. It seems like there are plenty of times you could take a knee to show racial injustice. But during the national anthem is one that's going to offend people. Whether you agree with it or not, whether you think it's no big deal or not, it's going to fucking piss off a lot of Americans. And it has. And some of them are going to call them thugs for doing it. Sorry. These are the same people that cheered when Trump called these players sons of bitches, alluding to the fact that their moms are bitches. Why would he call their mothers the B word? Stop it. I call everybody I know a son. Look at that son of a bitch. Ah, son of a bitch. I don't mean Mrs. Fady's a bitch. We all know that.
Hi, Mrs. Fady.
Now, these fans, quote unquote, I'm assuming he's talking about all of us, have the best coach in modern Lions history in their sights. And no, it's not just because of the terrible loss to Cincinnati. For many, it's because he has brown skin.
So insulting, dude.
For many.
So insulting.
Broad brush.
I've
bullshit.
never even
Fuck this
considered
guy.
Yeah.
that he's black. I don't think 90% of the listener or fans have. Maybe there's some asshole rednecks, of course, I suppose, but
If you want to see Trump back in the presidency in the next election, keep writing shit like that. It pisses a lot of people off and makes them want to embrace change and going down different fucking routes than what people tell people they have to go down. It really.
It's insulting on such a level because the fact is President Obama does not win the presidency twice, by the way, without the vast majority of white people voting him in. You know what I mean? Like, did all of a sudden those people that were desperate for hope and change and then were highly disappointed in his version of hope and change, now all of a sudden they're racist for wanting the same thing with Trump, an outlier that's not preaching hope and change the same way Obama did? It's obvious why they're voting for these people. Why they would take a community organizer and put him in the fucking White House. Give me something believable, something I can put trust in. Trump, fine. It didn't work with the fucking community organizer. Let's try it with this weirdo business guy who talks weird. Fuck it. Give it a shot. It's not because he's white. This guy, he ends his article. And again, if you want to read it for yourself, and feel free to email him. He's left his phone number, too, if you want to call him and give him your thoughts on it. It's Joseph Hayes.
He loves the clicks. Click on that article.
The Times Herald. Yeah, go ahead, and then write him and tell him what you think. His phone number is 810-989-6268. So you can.
But that's what he's expecting, just a bunch of white lash against this, No, people get sick of being fucking painted in a certain way,
Yeah.
Broad
can our
brush.
sports just be our sports? Can it just be an escape? Can I just watch the Lions and
Just
bitch
further
about
evidence
the Lions?
that league in particular is in real trouble.
I mean, yeah. Well, it's funny, but the NBA, it's what, 85% African Americans, and football's probably not much behind that. There's a lot of black players. It's like, do you really think these Klansmen of fans would be rooting and cheering and buying jerseys of all these goddamn blacks? No, they wouldn't. It doesn't have. It sucks because it was the one place where race was kind of set aside for a long time. It was just like, this is where we come to get away from a lot of this shit, and it's sad to see. And maybe you're right, Jay. Maybe it is about clicks at the Times Herald. Maybe that's really, really important, is for me to get clicks. And I know by doing this, it'll get picked up by everybody. And run around
now they're making comment at in Allen Park about they're coming out and having to say this isn't racist and it's like
absurd. The comment out of Allen Park should be when posed the question should be, you know what? Shame on you for even posing that question. Thank you, goodbye, and walk out. Don't even justify it. If I was in Allen Park, I'd say shame on you.
I swear to God, I swear it's not racist. Oh, I have black friends. Yeah.
So he ends this article by talking about, as a black man, when I got the job at the Times, people said, black man can't lead that paper, blah, 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 blah. One message said I was a failure. Others said I should be embarrassed for letting my community down. And so he's getting this all the time. So I understand if many simply think this is a column. This column is me pulling out the race card. It's no longer surprising to see people run away from conversations about race. Oh, go fuck yourself, Joseph. I have no problem discussing race and running away from the conversation. No, it's when you twist the conversation to such an absurd fucking level that it's embarrassing. It should be embarrassing to your community.
There was no conversation about race in regard to this guy. It just wasn't an issue. It's not an issue.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Sheila Jackson pulled the same type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that story. I don't know much about her, but from what I gather this morning, hearing pundits talk about her, sounds like she is.
You're not familiar with Sheila Jackson Lee?
She's the cunt of cunts. It sounds like in politics. Like most people,
Texas Congresswoman, I believe.
Yeah. And do you know much about this story or what happened here?
Yeah, a lady, I guess, saved up her hard-earned money and bought a first-class ticket.
A school teacher.
Yeah, I thought she was a lawyer, but whatever.
No. She was a school teacher, everything I read.
Bought a first-class ticket, and she got to the gate, and she was met with, "Oh, it looks like perhaps your ticket was canceled. Did you cancel this ticket?" She's like, "No, I need to get home, and I have a first-class seat." They're like, "Oh, no, we don't have a seat for you, so we'll put you in economy. Now, we will give you a $500 voucher, but we're sorry, there was some mix-up or something." And so they find out that in her original seat is sitting Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
In her stead is Congresswoman Lee.
She got bumped for a congresswoman.
And this bitch, she's like, I just sat down and started getting to work for the people.
For the people.
I just got my stuff out, was just going to where, God forbid, she takes 5 minutes to enjoy the holiday season as it's beginning. She's got work for the people to do.
Rolling up her sleeves.
Hell yes. And so, this chick was like, this chick apparently bumped me. And what they were saying, and the one quote I did see out of this, the lawmaker in her statement said she did nothing wrong, and she didn't ask for any exceptional or out of the ordinary. She didn't ask for anything exceptional or out of the ordinary, and received nothing exceptional or out of the ordinary.
Oh, so you always get bumped into first-class seats.
What does that statement tell you as a lawyer, Jay? Is that sweet talk for?
No, it's not. She's not trying to technically do anything. She's just being a bitch. She's just saying, I didn't ask for anything, and I didn't get anything that great.
I disagree.
It just shows that she expects to sit in first class.
I didn't ask for anything exceptional or out of the ordinary. I asked for something, but it wasn't exceptional or out of the ordinary, and I received nothing exceptional or out of the ordinary. That to me, that says, well, certainly depends on what your definition of exceptional and out of the ordinary is.
I'm saying she always bumps into first class.
Right. It would be very out of the ordinary for me if I just said,
to
hey,
sit in economy?
Can I just be in first class instead? I don't really want to sit here. Yeah, sure, man.
She did give that bullshit apology, though. If it was perceived that I had anything to do with this, for that, I'm sorry.
And moreover, those attacking me are racist. Mm-hmm. She said that.
As an African American, I know there are too many examples like this all over the nation. I hope one day we will accept our collective diversity. Really? Bitch.
She brought race into it.
Yeah.
Here's what I'd like. I'd like her or her office to produce some paperwork showing that she bought that ticket.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The fact is she walked up there and said, yeah, I'm Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, if you didn't recognize me already.
Sheila Jackson Lee.
And I need to sit in first class.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I've got work to do.
Yeah.
Well, bump that piddly-ass school teacher, whatever. Yeah. She can sit back there with the others. Yeah, I can totally see that. That's interesting. I bet they don't do that. I bet they don't, give us proof that she bought that ticket in advance. I think they were trying
to... Because it doesn't exist?
Blame the other girl for canceling her flight online or something. She's like, absolutely not. What are you talking about? So they ended up giving her another $500 voucher on top of that and apologized. There's something fishy to that story for sure. But anyway, let's take a quick break and we'll get to some other things. Roseanne, are you excited for Roseanne, the TV show, to come back?
Oh, wow. Shit, that's what's been missing, huh?
Can you believe we're doing that, bringing all these shows back?
Will and Grace.
That's been a bomb, hasn't it?
I haven't heard anything about it, so that would be my assumption.
I thought Will and Grace has been a bomb. Maybe we can look that up in the break, E. And what was the other one? The kids show with the twins, the dumb twins.
Fuller House is back on Netflix.
On Netflix. I think that's actually done okay. I think that's done well. Anyway, we'll get to that and more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. Detroitcast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroitcast, powered by DealsInTheD.com. From Mike and Jay. You see, he and I got the new iPhone X over the break. Yeah.
Oh, that's where the talking emojis are coming from.
Yes. Oh, I had fun with those. He just got his today. Yeah, I needed to get something new, and so I was able to pass mine down to Beth. You know, I got the camera fixed on it for her, and blah blah blah. So, yeah, but those talking emojis are so
What else
much
does
fun.
it do aside from everything?
I don't know. I haven't figured any of that out yet. No, it was killing me though. I figured the camera. I figured the cameras in these things are a shitload of money. And so I never researched getting it fixed, but it was driving me nuts. Like every time someone was here, it was like, will someone else take a picture of us? Because mine always looked like shit. And so I knew Beth needed a new phone. Hers wouldn't even, like she couldn't even swipe pages. Mm-hmm. So I was like, she's going to go spend hundreds of dollars on a new one. Why don't I just go re-up mine, get the new one, and give her mine? So it was a good move. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure it all out at this point. And Eases just got his, right?
Yes, correct. I am not someone who honestly cares about the newest phone necessarily, but my phone, the battery was dying in an hour. You know, memory was terrible. And
was that your Christmas present?
It was a Christmas present. It was a Christmas present.
Nice.
But I am.
Mine was not.
Yeah, it was a Christmas present. But my point is, you know how it works with our deal. It was pretty much better to get a 10 than it was to I would have been fine with getting a 7 or 8, but it was just the same essentially.
Hey, Hamlin Pub wants you to know about their New Year's Eve bash. Of course, that's Sunday, December 31st, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m., and it's $220 per couple, but that includes a ton of... You get 4-course plated dinner for 2 with ultimate dessert bar, open bar till 1, champagne toast and party favors, live entertainment, 1-night stay in deluxe hotel room, complimentary breakfast, transportation to and from Hamlin Pub and Hotel. So it's a great deal. Call 586-786-9350 to order tickets.
I will say this though about my Christmas. My mom does literally ask me several times for stuff, and I actually tell her no for the most part. I think I got like a pair of sweatpants, you know, whatever.
Oh, you're wearing them now?
No, these are not the new ones. But my point is though, so I really didn't open that many gifts. I'm okay with just the situation I'm in right now, and. So this leads me to say,
why is he sandbagging Christmas?
I know.
What is the point of the story?
I know.
Like neither of us were.
No, Mongoloid Aaron.
The implication is that we were going, God, E, you made out like a bandit once again. The Fady family.
Here's the reason I'm telling you that. I didn't really open that much in my own house because I'm kind of like, you know what, I'm good. Mongoloid Aaron Rodgers, I think he got like 20 presents.
Good for Mongoloid Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like I was like doing the handing things around and stuff, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, another one for Aaron, or another one for Aaron.
What? Who got them all for him?
My parents, I guess. I mean,
did he get nice shit, or was it like, oh, Ron got some socks?
They were like gift cards and stuff, but like Hulu gift cards and, you know, something for golf and this and that. I'm like, God damn, another present for Aaron. Jesus Christ.
I got a Dad Rocks rock
I
with a left-handed guitar.
Apparently, yeah.
It's not even a rock.
I know. I just thought it was interesting because I just
rock.
remember more than a few times be like, Jesus Christ, another thing for Aaron, okay.
Hey, snow is falling. Our friends at Zott M59, Chrysler, Jeep, and DealsInTheD.com have an unheard of offer. Right now, during their Big Finish event of 2017, you can purchase or lease a new 17 Jeep Wrangler for $1,000 below dealer invoice. Nobody discounts Jeep Wranglers, but the crazy crew at Zott M59, Chrysler, Jeep. So if you've ever dreamed of riding the trails in your fresh new Jeep Wrangler, now's the time to do it.
Did you see this guy, Jay? I just wanted to show you this really quick because it'll lose steam by tomorrow. This guy that was this dude here, and now he's a vegan.
Okay.
And so in his 20s, you see him. He's
fat
a little
guy,
large,
yep.
big fat guy, and then now he's ripped, and he's like a celebrity vegan chef. He's done stuff with who did they say, like Denzel Washington and Sam Jackson, stuff like that, like vegan movies or documentary that he was in with them. Anthony Milan Ross, I guess he goes by Ross. He was arrested. Christmas Day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, here he is, Christmas morning with his kid. And go ahead, E.
Hey, guys. Smiling, and I'm hanging out with Nigel on Christmas Eve.
Hell yeah.
And we're about to embarrass ourselves. We're going to sing. You ready?
All right.
Yeah.
Me. Okay, sorry. You better watch out.
You better not cry.
You better not pout.
I'm telling you.
Is he pushing that voice a little bit? Trying to be like the
Little
baritone?
pitchy dog. Little pitchy.
Coming to
Two-town.
I think he thinks he's got a really good voice. I can tell the way he's doing the two-town.
And checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty or
Nice. They need to pick up the tempo.
Seriously.
Are they?
Is coming to town.
So anyway, they go through the whole song. You know, he sees you when you're sleeping. Da 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 da. 90 minutes later, the cops are called to this house as he murdered his wife, that kid,
What?
and his other kid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Christmas Day.
Wow, man.
Does that look like a guy that's 90 minutes away from fucking murdering his entire family?
Wow, that's awful, man.
Isn't that incredible? Just incredible. Yeah, I know. I was like, they can't have the video. And they're like, yeah, the video hasn't been taken down. You can still see it. I was like, no way. And so I pulled it up, and sure as shit,
Kid
there it
looks
is.
very comfortable with him. They look happy.
Yeah. 45-year-old has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. He was not hurt in a police standoff. He was firing at the cops, and he ended up just being arrested. Witnesses saw him shoot his estranged wife, Iris Ross, as she tried to run away from him. And they asked if she was okay, and he's like, no, and pointed the gun at them before going in the house. And then they heard the gunshots as he killed Nigel, the kid he was singing with there.
Damn, man.
And then like a 10-month-old or something too. So yeah, let's see here. Police responded about 4 o'clock. They found Iris's body outside. Milan, his last name is Ross, but most fans knew him as Milan. He became a chef, started writing and doing inspirational videos, transformation in his new life.
What happened, man?
I don't know. It sounds like he and his wife are getting divorced. He lived in a different part of Phoenix. This is in Phoenix, Arizona. He lived in a different part, a different city, but in the area. And so he went over there for Christmas. Maybe he got into a fight with her. Obviously, something happened there. Maybe he didn't get maybe his kids got him a fucking Dad Rocks rock, not even a full rock.
Wanted world's best.
He wanted world's best mug, world's greatest dad plate, whatever. At least have it on a real rock. And he was so fucking turned off by this that he couldn't help himself. And then went after the whole family. I love when they do this too. He texts her mom, I believe. So or her sister. So the wife's sister, Mary Wogus. Mary Wogus gets a text yesterday from him saying just 2 messages. First one, yeah, I just killed Iris and the kids. And then the second message was just, with a gun. Oh, good, because it mattered if you killed him with a stick, a rock, a gun, a flamethrower, whatever. Isn't that crazy? Just crazy.
That's the last thing I expected you to say. I don't know where that story was going.
Dog.
Like, man, he's pitchy. It's not well done.
Yeah.
Did he,
he's not going for it. He doesn't believe in his ability
he killed
right
his
here.
Kid 90 minutes later.
Yeah.
Holy
and wife
shit.
and other kid, yeah. Lastly, before we get to email, because we've let email back up on us here, were you jonesing for a Roseanne reunion?
No. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Do these work? I got to say, man, the Roseanne clan looks better than they did during the original series.
Yeah.
Don't they all look healthy? Like, that's the whole cast for the most part. And I think that the dad, Dan, John Goodman, looks better.
It's lost a lot of weight, yeah.
I thought Roseanne even looked healthier. The kids all appeared to be in shape.
When's
Sarah
the last
Gilbert,
time that was on?
98.
Wow.
I think it was their finale. I was at the taping of the very final episode of Roseanne.
Really?
Yeah, I've told you guys that.
I don't remember. That didn't resonate with me.
Really?
I wonder why.
I was in the studio audience for the very final episode of Roseanne. I don't remember that they killed Dan. Dan had a heart attack. I remember they won the lottery or something. I don't know, but whatever. So the reason I bring this up is they had a promo that ran during the Christmas basketball game, Cavs and Warriors, and because they killed Dan off in the season finale, he had a heart attack and died. And so it starts off with...
Is there any wiggle room? Did they fade to black and they didn't really define if Dan was dead or not? Or?
I think they're relying on the magic of television. Just go, yeah, fuck it, he's not dead anymore. You know, we need John Goodman there. And so I guess they're in the living room. He's dad is watching the game with Becky, the oldest daughter. Becky. And Roseanne walks in, how's the basketball game? And she's like, it's dope, Mom. And then Dan says, oh, and I still can't think I still think the Bulls of 96, 97 would beat these guys any time. And then Roseanne scolds him. You can't live in the past, Dan. When things are done, they're gone forever. Kind of a nod to, your character was killed off and gone forever. So, they're bringing eight episodes back of Roseanne on March 27th on ABC. They got an hour-long special to kick it off. 20 years to life. That was a decent show back in the day. I wonder.
I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Really?
Honestly, yeah.
It was kind of the white trash version of the Cosbys.
Okay.
So you had the Cosbys, doing their thing, and then the extreme opposite was Roseanne and this group of this just total white trash family, and it was good. It was good writing at the time. Roseanne was red hot. It wasn't a bad show. It'd be interesting to see how they do it now, today's world. If
Didn't
they
they
can
have the
still
first
pull it off.
lesbian kiss on that show?
I think they did. Her sister Lori Metcalf, I think it was, and maybe. Who's that other? Is it Bernhardt?
Dude, yeah, Sandra Bernhardt.
Sandra Bernhardt. Weren't they the ones that? How do you know that? How do I know that?
Just because that's the only remarkable thing I can think of that came out of that show, honestly. That was the groundbreaking.
Well, I always had a crush on that one. Sarah Gilbert. She's
Really?
a total lesbo, too.
Ah.
Yeah. Kind of a bummer, man. I was like, oh, man, I was all hot for the lesbian
Melissa
shit.
Gilbert's sister, right? She lives in Howell.
Yeah.
Melissa Gilbert.
Does she still?
How
I know
random
she
is that?
did. Yeah. Crazy.
Hey, thank you to whoever sent us the breast implants, by the way. I forgot they were in there. Grab me one.
Christmas.
I know.
Do you want them both or just one? Or?
Well, I prefer them both, but I know that this is to both of us, so.
Oh, it is?
Well, it's to the cast.
Yeah, but I know there was a time not that long ago when you were actively seeking. I think we went to one of those medical stores and they had those shirts for people that had one titty removed.
Yeah.
And so they give you one titty.
Yeah,
and
the
you
prosthetic.
wanted one, but you were worried. Is this over the line? Because I wouldn't mind having a titty here just to squoze.
I'll give you one. 300 cc's. Is that big? What is that? What does that grow into? I guess it depends on what's already there, right?
Well, I'd probably have 300 cc's. You want to give him a squoze?
No, thank you. I want to squoze your.
By the
Dude,
way,
I bet that's a solid C cup.
Okay.
Don't you think? I mean, if you go under the skin with that.
Oh, I thought he was looking.
not the
up,
first not the first kiss.
It's not the first lesbian kiss.
No. L.A. Law.
Okay, LA Law
91.
beat him to it in 91. And then Picket Fences did it in the episode entitled Sugar and Spice in 93. Okay.
There we go. What do you think?
Yeah, that looks like a solid C.
But
solid.
It's sitting on top of a B plus. You know what I mean? So you gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, so thank you. She didn't want to be named, but
Let's see.
can we take one out of the bag, or have these
Oh,
been
hell
removed
yes.
from a body? I don't even know.
They have not been
It's
taken
just
out of
in
a
a
body.
it's in a regular Ziploc. This does not look like it's
Nah, get him out
it's
of
an
here.
official. I don't know, dude. Is
Yes.
there some dried blood on there?
No. Here. Oh, way better. Look at that poops. Yeah, these need to be strong enough to be battered.
Yeah.
And abused. When you really get going on a pair of these, fake or not, you
Yeah, that
really
looks
want to get
bigger
in
now
there
that
and
you take it out.
you really want to get
That's
in there
a pretty
and
big boob.
be able to work them over,
Yeah.
without
So
them
thank you.
popping.
Thank you for that. That was it might have been our best gift. I don't know.
Are you sure these are
Wanna
titty
rank-
implants and not butt implants?
I don't know if we want to get into the business of ranking our gifts, but this is honestly the gift that keeps on giving all year round.
Yeah. I mean, boy, oh boy, it does. Yeah, these are going to look good right here. If you see me just reach over and play with them, it's probably not intentional. It's probably just, force of habit. So if you're like in the middle of something and you see me just kind of squoezing your titties over there.
And this Christmas card got set aside prior to Christmas from Nick. Thank you, Nick, for sending us pictures of your poops. Your little black cat all dressed up in people clothes. He's got a bow tie in one.
Oh, I could look at those all day.
He says, look at that poops. Fun fact, cats fit very well in 0 to 3 month baby clothes.
Oh, my God, dude.
I don't know
that's
how you get a cat to
awesome.
sit there like that. Like a dog, I could see, but cats are kind of, get that off of me kind of.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
But that
Dude,
guy loves it.
That's awesome.
He's in a vest.
Yep, there you are. Got a bow tie
It's
on.
very distinguished.
Dude, that's hilarious. That's great.
On to email.
I tell you what happened to Pants the other day.
Not on to email. On to Pants. What happened to Pants?
I go outside. I'm outside, and Pants isn't around. He's been gone for a couple days, and I go outside, and I just hear this really, really faint.
Oh, no. What's he stuck in?
And I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is that? I swear I hear something. I couldn't figure out what it was, and it sounded like it was 2 miles away. And so I'm like, well, I better ignore that and just go inside. I'll deal with that later. And so a couple hours later, I come out. thing's just wailing. I'm like, fuck. Finally, I look across the street into our guy over here that does all the leaves and Juan's house. And I look up, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is that Pants? Dude, Pants has found a way up, I don't know, 14 stories up into a tree. And
called the fire department?
Dude, I thought about it, but it was so early in the morning. I happened to wake up early, and and it's like 6 in the morning.
Up there,
just fucking wailing. I'm like, oh man, someone chased him up there or something, right? That would have to be
coon, something.
And so he's just chilling up there, just screaming his head off. And I'm like, I gotta call the fire department now. Like, do they really do that? The fire department comes out and like rescues your cat from a tree.
I would think it'd be a bit frivolous. I don't. Although Franklin,
what do they have to do?
Yeah, they've got that nice shiny.
They want to just get in it and take it for a spin around the block. Why not?
I bet they'd come do it.
And I was like, is that something that just happened in like Leave It to Beaver in the 50s on television? You know? Oh.
No, I met a fireman at a Christmas party this couple weeks ago, and I asked him just that, dude. Have you ever gotten a cat out of a tree? He's like, I actually did.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, the lady called us out. We typically don't do that, but there was a crowd that formed. I'm like, all right, I'll go get it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to call Pete, who we know, who works down there at the Franklin department, and so I was like, fuck, I'm not calling them this early though. I'm like, I'll give it a couple hours, and
he came down.
I guess I'll call Pete and have him bring the fire truck down and fucking get the cat out of the tree. And I swear to God, an hour and a half later, before I was about to call, all of a sudden, guess who shows up at the back door?
There he is.
Yeah, what's going on? Thanks for coming to get me, dick face. I was screaming at you.
Hey, aren't these things supposed to be water now? Like, this feels very gelatinous to me.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is old stock.
This old school.
This could be old stock.
Look at this, man. There's some troubling kind of bubbles in there and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
is it supposed to be yellowed like that too?
Here's the thing with them. If you sample a pair of fake titties, and I know Gab doesn't have them, so you're probably not doing it lately.
Can you nibble on these things?
I think you can nibble a little bit, but you can pop too. But I think when a chick raises her arm with fake titties on, you can see like these wrinkles, like these bends in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not explaining that well, but you can see some of the flaws in it that a normal titty just kind of goes.
This
with
does
the
not
flow.
feel like saline to me, right?
Silicone, right?
Well, I think saline is the thing now, though, right? Didn't silicone cause all the problems?
Well,
people were dying and stuff.
Yeah,
crazy
because they
diseases.
pop, and like, guys were just getting too active with them and popping them. But what I like about these, like, they're usually hard as a rock, and that's what you'd hate about the early generation. But you see the nice little hang you get there?
Yeah.
You can really kind of get some fullness hang when you hold the titty bag by the top, and it kind of gives that kind of teardrop look that you're looking for.
Good point.
So I don't know if these are new or old. It's memory shape. We could probably look that up. 300 cc. And right there, Jay, this has not been implanted because it says not for implant.
Oh, these are okay.
So these are
samples
of what we're capable of doing.
Hey, the Hamlet Pub, they support the Detroit Cast. Let's make it a point to support them with locations in Rochester Hills, Clarkston, Chesterfield, and 2 in Shelby Township. You know there's one near you. The Hamlet Pubs have great food, ice-cold drinks, tons of craft beers, TVs, games, and great entertainment. So come on by or book your reservation today at hamlinpubs.com. On to email.
All right.
Sporting Clays and Shotguns from Scott.
Oh,
Gentlemen,
boy.
currently listening to episode 962, listening to the King talk about whacking ducks and Big E thinking that clay pigeons are UFOs. In Duck Hunt, of course, the Nintendo game. I'd like to formally invite the three of you to shoot Sporting Clays.
Hell yes.
Bing at Easis
Hell yes.
with me. Island Lake in Brighton. It has a great setup. You can drive from station to station in a golf cart. No waiters required. Clearly, the King has his own shotgun. I also have a couple that you could borrow. Keep up the excellent work. Winky Face,
When
Scott.
do we go?
Dude, there's one right by my house, too. Bald Mountain.
We have to pay for that one, though.
Good point. Sounds like Scott's taking us.
Yeah, it's Scott's treat, right? That's what I got out of that. So did you make your duck, by the way?
I did, yeah. It was delicious. It was really good. I went the popper route, as I mentioned, I think before. I went jalapeno pepper, went some cream cheese, duck, and then wrapped that shit in bacon.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good.
Wow. God, I wish I had some of that. Sounds good, yeah.
Mike writes in, new segment suggestion. Hey, fellas, I am sure that I'm late to the game. What about a segment called Weekend Doc, or Mike Talking Doc? On the Friday show, recommend a documentary for everyone to watch. Then on Monday, discuss it. I enjoyed the City in the Sky documentary. Might I suggest from Netflix or YouTube? Those services seem to be widespread. Just a thought. I understand that you have the microphone and sponsors, but can we try not to sound like Fox News all the time?
Well,
I miss dead bodies, prison breaks, and fat people having to be cut out of their apartment. You know more than I, Mike. Sound like Fox News, do we?
yeah. Sometimes we probably do. We sound like MSNBC to some other people. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. Maybe the best way to do that is like once, like go, hey Jay, it's your documentary weekend.
Yeah.
You watch something this weekend and give us a rundown whether it's worth seeing on Monday.
It's
one of
honestly my
those.
favorite thing to watch. If I'm going to watch something, I will throw up a
Documentary.
documentary. But there's so many bad ones. There's some really good ones out there, but there's a lot of bad. You know, I was scrolling through HBO the other day, your account, and I came across a couple that were just like, dude. Like I was watching
Yeah.
a Banksy one, which wasn't that bad, but it got me so dizzy because it was shot in sort of like a guerrilla fashion. You know, like,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
get out of the car and run to see this
MTV style.
Yeah, this next Banksy. Spray paint on whatever building. And
Is that the
there's
New York
crowds all-
one?
Yeah.
Banksy in New York or
Banksy
something?
went to New York in 2013.
It's
and,
good.
And every day he sort of did a scavenger hunt. He put out on social media clues on where to find his
Right.
next picture. His next. Why am I failing? His next.
Piece of art.
But
my favorite scene in
did
that
you
whole,
notice that though? It was so shot in.
You know
like,
what? Yeah, that bothers you more than it bothers me. It bothered me in Star Wars, to be honest with you. Like right out of the gate, where there was some scene where the strobe effect is the one that gets me. I can do Blair Witch. Like some people could not watch Blair Witch Project, right? The run-in with the handheld cam through
Yeah.
the woods thing, and that would drive you nuts. But that strobe thing, that really fast lights, is the one that I just like, ugh. And there was a scene early on in Star Wars. It didn't happen throughout, but early on where I was like, ugh.
made you sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt weird the rest of the day. I saw that again, by the way. I saw it a second time
You did?
over the weekend. Took the kids.
Yeah.
The sweet pie loved it, by the way.
Really?
She loved the porgs.
Oh, they're the best. Look at those guys. They're my favorites.
She ran home and made her own little stuffed porg.
Dude, I'm with her. They were the best part of that movie. I thought they were going to be the Binks. They turned out to be the next Vader. They were awesome.
Miss, I love Star Wars. Dude,
Did you notice anything that we missed the first time?
Nah, just little things. Like knowing the story now, you can watch it with, I don't know, a different eye toward things.
Yeah.
I don't think we missed anything huge, or at least I didn't. But
Yeah.
you know what's coming, so you're like, oh, well, I won't mention it.
Well, I got to be honest. I didn't like the. We can talk about it tomorrow, maybe. Is that better? Because we got other email.
Rude Jude. Brad writes in, Rude Jude was fucking exhausting to listen to. Regards, Brad.
Oh, thanks, Brad.
Dave writes in, Rude Jude. Love the interview with Jude. It's cool to see how he stuck around for so long. There were a couple of responses that Jude gave to Mike that seemed like the conversation took a bad turn. Overall, though, seemed like everything was fine and everybody's still friends. One example, there was one of these around the 42-minute mark where Mike said, fuck the retard about one of Jude's relatives. Jude's response got serious. There's a quick change of mood in the air, I felt. I think that
What?
ended up okay, though. Then the other times were when Mike brought up Eminem's new album, asked if Jude liked it, but what if he didn't? Jude did say he liked the album, also said there's also only one answer for that question, and asked why Mike would even ask the question like that. I like Jude's response that he's not going to shit on his boss. Good job, boys, Dave.
Yeah, I felt like he came a little strong with that Eminem one. Like, I didn't think I was going over the line there.
Not at all.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it was.
I totally knew where you were going with that. Just
Yeah.
like, look, you're in a bite the hand that feeds you sort of situation. Like, is
Yeah.
that hard for you? Do you know, how do you toe that line? And he just was like, not talking about it, man.
Yeah. Well, the reason it was weird, like if I was talking to name them anybody that does a show on a station anywhere, you know, if you're talking to some guy it's obvious they're not going to bite the hand that feeds. But someone like him is very, very, very outspoken. His whole gig is how honest he is to a fault about drugs, about sex, about shitty things he's done to his family or whatever. It's like that's his gig. Is I'm the most honest guy on radio, and so it's like, okay, well, what if you thought the new Eminem album sucked and you're on Shade 45? Like, you know, I expected him to go. There's one of two things. You could go, yeah, obviously I'm not going to fuck over my boss, dude. Come on. Or you go, well, luckily I don't have to deal with that because his shit's always awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like, or, you know what, guys, I don't even want to talk about that. But to jump on me like I was a dick face for it was like, come on, man. I'm just, you know, I'm not here to call you out. The other one that he kind of got pissy when he said he wanted to throw something at me when he fucked that chick and I accused him of giving her a charity fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? The chick with cystic fibrosis.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was something where you suggested he was like
Did I blow
well
this
off at some point or something?
Oh,
and he
yeah.
was like, "Fuck you, I'm not well off." You know, he was.
Yeah, when I said he was worth a few $1 million.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm not worth $1 million." Yeah.
I wasn't even saying he was worth $1 million. I was saying he was worth multiple millions of dollars, according to Celebrity Net Worth.
Ed writes in concerning white privilege. During your conversation with Rude Jude, it became clear that neither of you may be aware of what white privilege means, and I'm guessing that may be why so many others are also offended when they hear the term used. It is a term meant to identify that there are privileges inherent in being white. When Jude said, "Come to my hood and point out the white privilege," not listening back right now, but I believe that's the gist of what he said, the term infers the same white privilege to a homeless white man as it does to a silver-spooned Donald Trump. Donald Trump's, having come from a wealthy home, would also have had class privilege the homeless man likely did not share in, but his white privilege is equal. White privilege is not meant to say that all white people come from a privileged upbringing. The clearest I have heard it put is when a white person says, "I don't think about race," and someone said, "That is your white privilege." Society forces them to think about race. Does it?
Yeah.
If they are applying for a job and have a name associated with a black person, do they want to use that or change it to a more Caucasian-sounding name?
Your parents' fuckface.
Until they are
not my
comfortable.
fault.
Studies show it's clearly a white privilege to having a white-sounding name. They sent the same resume to businesses looking to hire, and it took sending out 50% more resumes for the black-sounding name to get a call back. And then he puts a link to that study. Or if you talk to one of my former coworkers that was one of the brightest guys you'll ever meet, he has a black friend.
Oh,
that is
Ed's got a black friend. Okay, good.
He has several hundred college credits. He's an excellent programmer and is just all around a great guy.
I would think he'd be the first one hired because of his black privilege.
He is very dark-skinned. I have driven around with him. He does not drive bad. He gets pulled over almost every week. He never gets a ticket. That's a good sign.
Well, shit, yeah.
But they make up some reason or another, often dirty license plate, to check to see if he's up to something. I got pulled over 3 times in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Never got a ticket.
Yeah.
But I was running stop signs and shit like that, running red lights.
White privilege. Thank God you had white privilege. They would have yanked you out of the car otherwise.
It's something that you or I don't really have to think about, but an African American forgets to think about race at his or her peril. Great interview and great show, but I just wanted to let you know you may be thinking of that term incorrectly, and it may be why it aggravates so many.
Yeah. White privilege is a myriad of things. And Ed, if you think we don't know what you just said, that wasn't what the discussion was, in particularly with as it related to Rude Jude. I mean, Rude Jude came up a poor fucking white kid from Pontiac who had to scrape and get what he could, and
whether you call it white privilege or not, his point was, dude, I'm a white guy who's scraped and clawed, so don't just look at me and go, oh, he's white and therefore he's had it easy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had it as hard as anybody.
Right. And had to do for himself. He didn't have a net. He didn't have a safety net. But yeah, I understand. And people love to throw that out there. I don't even think about race. Well, that's your white privilege. I've heard that from other people too. Like that's a quick, nice cutesy way.
Equally aggravating are takes that filter everything through race.
Yeah.
A couple stories that we did today. The Jim Caldwell one and the Sheila Jackson Lee one.
It's taking it to that next level where, like you said, when you're looking for it, if you're looking to be victimized, it's very easy to walk through life and every time you stub your toe, be able to blame it on something. Like if victimhood is a real thing, and people that don't view themselves as victims, that understands there's ups and downs and failures and successes in life, there's good days and bad days at work, and it's not always because you're a chick, it's not always because you're a black guy, it's not always because you're fat. It is what it is. We all go through those things, and so when you see just regular shit happen to people and you go, oh, I see what you did there. Yeah, it's not that you just fucking sucked at your job and got fired. No, of course it's because you're black. And that just further divides. I'm sorry, it just does. Because people read that Caldwell article, white people read that, and are like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. That's what they think, is fuck you, you reverse racist asshole. Don't play off that and act like, oh, yeah, it's our fault again. It's our fault. They haven't won a playoff game. It's our fucking fault now. Give me a break.
Wolfie writes in with a tampon story.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Good morning, my loves. The ones who the sun and moon rise and fall in your voices. During the decrepit tampon story, you mentioned splashback from the toilet, and it reminded me of a story. Last week we were talking about the wicking nature of the string, perhaps. We wanted to warn the ladies about that.
Sure.
Yes, a story from my Marine Corps days. Sorry. Well, while stationed in Italy, we were fighting a little skirmish in Bosnia, trying to oust that fuckface Slobodan Milosevic. We lived in tents on an airbase and didn't have permanent bathroom facilities, but merely a bank of about 70 porta-johns lined up in a row. Once a week, the Air Force was kind enough to clean them out and refill them with the blue water. Okay, now here's the reason for the email. After the Air Force has refilled the porta-johns, there's a short period of time where you are reluctant to go in there. It's clean, yes, but it's a bit too clean. There's no poo or paper in the water, and if you're one of the unlucky first 10 guys in there, you're highly susceptible to what was to be known as the blue douche. Your poo falls 3 feet directly into unobstructed cold blue water, and it usually splashes back up directly onto your balloon knot.
Oh, no. Oh, that's the worst when you get a direct
It's as if it was aiming there like a fucking Japanese sniper. If you were to come up to a porta-john that a guy was freshly leaving, you simply asked him, blue douche? If he says all clear, you go in and hotbox that thing. If he says landing zone compromised, you roll the dice on another one. The price for freedom we pay. If we have to take a blue douche every once in a while to keep our vagines safe and sound back home, then it's a small price.
Can't you though? All right, say you're sitting, right, Jay? You can picture it.
I can.
You're picturing it. You're like, this is because you would know this is a potential blue douche I'm dealing with. Once you start, and then you pinch, right? And it's like,
are you suggesting you dodge the blue douche? Are you suggesting you stand?
I'm suggesting you can. If you've got a 3-foot drop to contend with, I'm suggesting you would have enough time.
The agility to dodge the blue douche?
Pinch, clinch, and lift.
Well, you do have 3 feet.
I think if you pinch, clinch, and lift, worst case scenario, you get a blue cheek. Once it goes from the clip off to the bloop bloop splash and then the shoot up.
Why are you assuming that the blue douche only rises to the level of the ass hanging through the seat? I mean, if you were to drop something and move away,
you'd have to be, or not dive. You'd have to slide to the side.
Maybe it comes
again.
up 4 feet above the seat.
I think your step to the side is going to have to come into play here again, dude.
There's not a turd that I'm aware of that's going to launch 4 feet out of the bowl water.
If it's dropping 3, it's
Why are you assuming it's only barely touching your balloon knot?
So you're thinking it's making a hole?
I think it's probably clearing the seat.
But I think if you clip, clinch, and lift, right?
I think you got to get off the seat if that's the case.
Okay, then fine.
Dive forward, clinch.
I think
lift,
you want to clinch, right? That's the key. Is you don't want your butt hole.
What's the PSA here? Clinch, lift, and dive.
Clinch, lift, and dodge. Clinch, lift.
What to think about this? We'll save the rest for tomorrow, though. Mike.
Yeah, think about it. Someone will
this
beat
is
us
too important.
Yeah,
I am enjoying this breast. I mean,
I know you are.
am.
You are really manhandle.
I might break this thing.
I'm getting a small window into how Jay treats a titty in private because he can't help it. It's just second nature to him, and he's really.
I'm working this thing.
He's really giving it a who's your father? All right. Well, we've got one more show this week. You think we can make it, gentlemen?
Sure.
Before we get into the new year. Excited for New Year's? Anyone?
Sure.
I think New Year's sucks, doesn't it? New Year's is just...
It's amateur night.
Well, not just that. We'll take the time off. I saw a big Twitter thing going around about how Christmas Eve is way better than Christmas, just the anticipation factor. And I would agree. Christmas is always a disappointment. But New Year's Eve is always kind of a disappointment too. But anyway, we've got one more show to do. We'll do it tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for hanging with us. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.